So we talked about the impact and the positivity and what comes out of it. Can you talk about a little bit the negative side of things as far not necessarily negative, but can you talk about the times where someone might have thought about quitting, somebody thought about giving up, and they have that negative mindset? Can you talk about what did you do to put them back on the right track?
Well, one thing is understanding that you can't control much outside of your bubble. So everybody has this bubble, right? And there's only so much space. It doesn't grow, it doesn't shrink, it doesn't get bigger. There's you, and then there's this bubble. So everything you allow into this bubble, it cuts your room to grow inside of this bubble. So if you're feeling that stuff with all negative emotions, negative energy, there's not like a lot of room to impact or put positive things in there because this thing's ready to blow, right? So the only thing you can do at that moment is maybe, talk to somebody, give them some positive reinforcement, and maybe they'll start to let some of that negativity out of that bubble. So once they're releasing some of that negativity outside of that bubble, then there's room to start putting the positive stuff in there. So once you overwhelm all the negative, then that swings the person. Boom, they're good, they're bought in. But we have to understand that I don't know what's being said outside of what we're doing. So unless you're deflecting anything that's not, helpful, then yeah, you're gonna tend to be negative. And some people, they're just built that way. Like it doesn't matter what you do. They can find $100 and they'll find a way to be negative about it. Well, I find this $100, but I can't keep it because I gotta go pay the water bill. It'll be something to that man as opposed to like, oh man, I found this $100, man. I wonder where it's gonna come from, man. I can go pay my water bill, man. Woof, like I'm good, man. So that negative person will find a way to spin that around into a negative outcome when it's that whole outcome was like totally positive. But because that's who you are and that's what you've let into you, and consume you, that's all that you're going to put out. So you're gonna start repelling those people who have positive bubbles. they're going to go another way. So it's not that opposites attract, not in that instance, because negativity attracts more negativity, positivity attracts more positivity. So the positive doesn't attract the negative. Because the positive doesn't want to be around the negative. But you have to be, so me, it's like, okay, well, regardless, I have to try to make an impact. And I'm going to try my best until you say, well, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back, or this ain't for me, I'm going to find something else to do. Then, okay, hey, cool. Hey, wish you well. If I see you, I'll speak to you. It's no, most times when you're in the fitness industry, from what I've seen, people are running to somebody outside of the gym or whatever, and they'll hound the person. Where you been at? Why I ain't seen you? When you coming back? I see you and say, hey man, how's your family doing? And I'm sincere about it. Like, hey, if I don't care if you never come back. That's a decision, that's a choice that you made. But I do care about how your family's doing. How's the work life going, and because I want you to be good. But I'm never, oh, well, hey, well, you know where to find me. The only way I tell people, well, you know where to find me is that they say, hey, man, I'm coming back. I'm like, all right, you know where I be. So now, it's up to you, to come find me. But I'm not going to try to guilt you into, coming back in. It's like, nah, people are people, right? And there's different places for people, different lifestyles for people. So understanding that at the end of the day, people are going to choose where they want to be anyway. I never want to force anybody to be somewhere they don't want to be, because then it's totally different. The atmosphere is different. So you never want people to feel pressured. So I never make people feel pressured. If they're having their moments where they're not so positive, just hit them with a little reinforcement and keep it moving. A lot of times you ain't got to turn into a conversation. You turn into a conversation if they invite the conversation. So that's the difference, knowing when and where to say, hey, bro, you said something the other day, man, it just, I never said anything, but it made me feel real good when I left, you know, and then and it was brief. Sometimes it's all people need, right? They just got to know that somebody cares. So if they know somebody cares, then they're not, oh, well, nobody cares about this and nobody cares about that. It's like, yeah, but you have to allow people to show that they care.